CTV News at 11:30 with Ian Campbell and Rick Wyman with weather.
Well, good evening. Thanks for staying up with us. We begin tonight with the weather. People in Timmins and surrounding cities and communities are dealing with the first winter storm of the season. The wintry weather forcing road closures and warnings from Environment Canada. CTV's Lydia Chubak starts us off.
The first winter storm this fall has Timmins and the surrounding region at its mercy. Environment Canada is predicting 30 to 60 centimeters of snow to fall between Wednesday and Friday. Ontario Provincial Police closed several highways Wednesday morning, including Highway 11 between Attawapiskat and Cochrane, Highway 655 between Driftwood and Kidd Creek Mine Road, and Highway 144 between Timmins and the Gogama area.
We're getting a high volume of snow in addition to high winds, and it's affecting a large area of our region in the Cochrane, Attawapiskat, Timmins, and now towards Hornpain and White River as well. It's creating very hazardous conditions on the highway.
Police advise people to avoid all non-essential travel.
Driving on a closed highway is an offense that will fetch a ticket and a fine, and the possibility that if you get in a collision while driving on a closed highway, that insurance might not cover that.
Officials say the best place for updates on highway conditions is the Ontario 511 website. Environment Canada also asks people to take note of the new weather alerts it's implementing as of today. Gerald Chang is a warning preparedness meteorologist and says the colors yellow, orange, and red indicate the weather's risk level. Chang says this method is recommended by the World Meteorological Organization and used by many other countries.
And for them, it's very effective in communicating risks to the population, risks from weather hazards, and that's why we are implementing it. It just so happens that we are right on time for this winter storm, and so we hope that the color-coded weather alerts will allow the public to understand better their risk from this winter storm.
Timmins and the Cochrane district currently falls under an orange warning. Environment Canada plans to release a seasonal forecast within the next few weeks, but says Timmins should expect more weather like this over the next 4 months, with maybe some mild temperatures in the middle. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
Well, as Lydia mentioned, there is a new system in place as of today for weather warnings, and many are still in effect in our region, including Timmins, where Lydia is. Let's take a look at that map. The area in orange is a winter storm warning. That's everything from Wawa, White River to Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, Smooth Rock Falls, and Moosonee. 30 to 60 centimeters is possible. Fort Albany up there in yellow is under a blowing snow advisory, and we've got yellow watches in Sault Ste. Marie and Parry Sound, meaning snow squalls are taking hold. 5 to 10 centimeters is possible with near zero visibility at times. Let's over to CTV's Rick Wyman, who's in the Weather Center and watching the radar. Rick.
Snow for the Timmins area, for example, 10 to 15 centimeters for this evening. And as you can see, 10 more centimeters during the day tomorrow and another 5 to 10 by tomorrow evening. Then that storm system should end in the Timmins area and some of the smaller communities. So again, it's going to be another day of shoveling, another day of watching how you drive, and perhaps avoiding some of the well-congested areas because lots of snow remains in that particular area. Ian, back to you.
Thanks, Rick. He'll be back a little bit later in the newscast with your full weather forecast. In other news, Prime Minister Mark Carney has announced some new measures to protect and transform steel and lumber, which should have some big impacts in our region. Canada will be tightening steel products from non-free trade agreement partners to 20% of 2024 levels. The federal government will also work with rail companies to cut freight rates for steel and lumber interprovincially by 50% starting next year. The federal government will also earmark $100 million towards what it calls an active work sharing agreement. The move has some encouraged, others applauding it, including the Federation of Northern Ontario Municipalities. Its president Dave Plourde writing in a statement, these measures acknowledge what Northern Ontario has long understood, that our steel and lumber sectors are national economic pillars. U.S. tariffs continue to destabilize communities across the north, and today's announcement provides needed tools to help our workers and industries adapt, compete, and grow. Attawapiskat police seized more than $100,000 in illicit drugs at a First Nations airport. There was a disturbance at the Attawapiskat airport last week. Police located a 30-year-old woman trespassing and arrested her. Investigators say she was found to be in possession of methamphetamine pills and crystal meth valued at $110,000. Another delay in the sentencing hearing for a woman charged in the stabbing of her neighbor in Chelmsford last November. The aggravated assault case of 34-year-old Jessie Brave was back before a judge in Sudbury today to have sentencing submissions. The 31-year-old female victim was left paralyzed. Justice Mark Hornblower admitted to only getting the case earlier this week, adding he did not have all the files required to proceed. The case has been delayed twice since August, first for a mental health assessment and then for court administration issues. It could be January before the case is heard before the judge. Sudbury's Sophia Mather is among 7 young environmentalists from Ontario who have taken the province to court. They argue the government's weakening of its climate targets violates Canadians' charter rights. CTV's Lindsay Alick has the latest on the case.
Just days before a critical hearing on December 1st, the applicants are condemning the Ford government for forcing through legislative changes.
Disappointingly, although perhaps not surprisingly, the Ford government has yet again chosen to pull out all the stops to avoid accountability.
In the government's fall economic statement, it included amendments to repeal sections 3 to 5 of the Cap and Trade Cancellation Act, which aims to get rid of requirements of establishing emissions reduction targets, a climate change plan, and minister progress reports.
I'm here because the court has already found that Ontario's 2030 climate target was inadequate. Instead of fixing it, the Ford government tried to run away from its responsibility entirely by removing the law that requiring them to set targets at all. If the courts have said that this government needs to do more, we believe they should not be allowed to get away with doing less.
CTV News reached out to the Premier's office for comment and received a statement which says, in part, in the face of economic uncertainty, with President Trump taking direct aim at our economy, our government is taking a hard look at the unnecessary processes that have held us back and putting forward big and bold ideas to build an economy that is more competitive and resilient.
It's in line with their record for placing the economy above the very ecosystems that support life. So this new development has as well strengthened my resolve and made me grateful that we are taking action to hold the government accountable in court for their obligation and their responsibility to protect the lands and waters, and in turn the very people and generations that they're supposed to serve.
Thompson says since the December 1st hearing has been adjourned, both parties are working on next steps. He says his team will be proposing a schedule to get back before the courts as soon as possible. And he strongly believes that this latest attempt to have the case thrown out by the Ford government will not work. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.
In Sudbury, today marked the official start of the festive Reduce Impaired Driving Everywhere, known as the RIDE campaign. CTV's Elena Everson reports.
This officer is administering a mandatory alcohol screening device at this festive ride check. The driver passes. The festive ride campaign is now underway across the province.
In Sudbury, unfortunately, we have about on an average of 1 impaired driver arrested per day. That's kind of our average. That's daytime or nighttime. So you're going to see us out during the daytime. You're going to see us out at nighttime. We have increased patrols throughout the festive season. It's a little bit busier this time of year, so you're going to see us out there. So be prepared.
Kim Hancock was at the ride check, passing out bookmarks and red ribbons. Her teen son DJ was killed in a crash involving a drunk driver.
Don't change anybody's life forever. It's not worth it. You know, there's lots of options out there, and just remember DJ if you think about getting into your car and driving.
The police are telling drivers they have several choices when they choose to drink or use drugs. Safe Ride Home Sudbury starts this Friday, running through until New Year's Eve.
We'll drive you and your vehicle home by a team of volunteers, and you'll arrive home safely. It's a free service, but we do rely on donations.
The ride service to keep impaired drivers off the road needs volunteers right now. Greater Sudbury police say the community should expect festive ride checks anytime, anywhere. Last holiday season, 3,243 drivers were checked. Alan Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
At Queen's Park today, Guy Bourgoin, the new Democrat MPP from Mushkegowuk, James Bay, introduced his second private member's bill regarding road safety. Bourgoin is proposing the bill called Chad's Law, which would make passing on double solid lines illegal in Ontario. He says this form of highway passing is already illegal in every other province. He adds Northern Ontario drivers are 4 times more likely to die in a vehicle crash than Southern Ontario drivers.
We need to have very clear rules of the road so that those drivers don't take those risks and that people are not put at risk of a head-on collision. It seems very obvious. Why do we not have the same standard across the whole country?
The industry is scared too. In 2024, Ontario Trucker Association survey of 600 drivers. The top concern about driving on Northern Ontario was unsafe passing by other vehicles. Chad Law proposed to clearly state that passing on a double solid line is illegal. It establishes a $400 fine for the offense.
Bourgoin is calling on the 5 progressive Conservative MPPs in Northern Ontario to assist in passing this private member's bill to prevent death, increase road safety, and reduce road closures. Meanwhile, the Minister of Education was talking about the near North District School Board again today. While speaking to the media, Paul Calandra said he would be making an announcement on the board very soon. The minister's been threatening to step in following a ministry review earlier this month. Parry Sound Council recently passed a motion requesting Calandra allow the town to leave the board and create its own or join another nearby school board.
The amount of letters and anger and frustration that we're getting from that community is the only comparison I have is it was Ottawa prior to the takeover. I mean, Parry Sound is much smaller, frankly, but the near North Board is much smaller, but they're getting close. They're getting close in terms of anger and frustration.
Representatives from the school board are set to meet with Parry Sound Town Council next Thursday, but Calandra told reporters he doesn't see anything short of a Christmas miracle changing his mind on what he believes needs to be done. Time now for a short break here on CTV News. Coming up, Rick will have your full weather forecast. For now, a look at the current conditions. And that is the weather warning board as it stands now. Let's take a look at where we are. That snow continuing to fall heavier in Wawa at the moment. -5 in Kapuskasing, -2 in Timmins, 1 degree in Temiskaming Shores. It hasn't really started much in the south end, but that is changing. We'll have details in a moment.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Well, it's been quite a day in some parts of northeastern Ontario. Lots of snow to the north and lots of rain to the south. Our forecast radar, you can see that system hovering over the northeast right now. This is what it's going to look like at about supper time tomorrow evening and continuing through. So for the most part, the snow will end by late tomorrow. We'll get into some of the numbers in just a couple of moments. Sudbury Nickel Belt, for instance, 2 to 4 centimeters for tomorrow, then a few centimeters at night. Chance of flurries on Friday, Saturday. Cloud cover Sunday, some flurries, sun and cloud Monday, and of course, chance of flurries once again come Tuesday. Meanwhile, in Sault Ste. Marie, we've got snow squalls, 5 to 10 centimeters during the day, and more activity for tomorrow evening. Friday, chance of flurries, Saturday, chance of flurries, and it continues Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and even Wednesday. Normally, your temperature should be at about 1, but take a look at some of the minus temperatures over the course of the next couple of days in the Sioux and Algoma. How about Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, the land of the ice and snow? For tomorrow, 10 centimeters during the day, 5 to 10 centimeters for tomorrow evening as well, high of -4. Friday, chance of flurries. Saturday, some cloud cover. Chance of flurries again on Sunday. Monday, some sun and cloud. And Tuesday, again, chance of flurries. But take a look at the daytime temperatures. Monday, -12, and Tuesday, -10 degrees. Timiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake, snow tomorrow, 2 to 4 centimeters, 2 centimeters tomorrow evening. Chance of flurries on Friday. Saturday, some sun and cloud. Flurries on Sunday. Monday, some sun and cloud. And Tuesday, we're back to the chance of flurries and getting colder beginning on Saturday night, Sunday night, and again continuing Monday and next Wednesday evening. North Bay, West Nipissing, 2 to 4 centimeters tomorrow, 2 centimeters by tomorrow evening. Friday, chance of flurries. Saturday, some sun and cloud. Sunday, chance of flurries once again. And Monday, some sun and cloud, chance of flurries on Tuesday. So flurries off and on over the course of the next couple of days. A lot of people wondering, when was the snow supposed to get here? Well, it's here now. It'll pretty well stick for the rest of the winter. Ian Campbell, it's going to be an interesting day and night in Timmins, for example. More snow should wrap up by about tomorrow evening. Back to you on the desk.
A lot of happy snowmobilers. Thanks for this, Rick. Well, time now for a look at the mayor's chair. Once a week, we sit down with a mayor from across our region about issues important to them, something they're facing. Earlier tonight, I sat down with Mayor Giselle Pajot, who's been lobbying the OPP to keep its detachment open in Noelville. Here's part of the conversation.
Things are going very well, actually, with the OPP. It's status quo. The detachment is not closing. One of the decisions that facilities will have to decide is whether they get a new facility or a new building or whether they renovate. But our OPP officers are staying exactly where they're supposed to be, and that's in the Sudbury East detachment, which is located in Noelville.
That's good news for sure. Now, I know you work hand in hand. You're a volunteer with the French River Food Bank, and French River is one of the very few communities in our region that's getting a visit from the holiday train. That's got to be exciting, particularly considering who it benefits.
Absolutely. It's been about 15 years that the train has stopped in Alban, right at the railroad tracks. And part of the celebration is not just getting great entertainment, Canadian entertainment, but also it's a venue for us to collect non-perishable canning for our families in needs through the Christmas Basket Kid group and the food bank.
Our thanks to Mayor Pajot. That full interview is up on our website and our YouTube page, our website being CTVNewsNorthernOntario.ca. Next week, we'll sit down with Mayor Rick Champagne from East Ferris. Well, new tonight, after years of waiting, Lively residents finally got their first look at the designs for a new $4 million recreation facility. But the consultation tonight wasn't just about a new park. It was about choosing between 3 locations, including the historic Anderson Farm. CTV's Amanda Hicks reports.
This event was all about seeing conceptual designs and sharing feedback.
I'm excited for some new features and stuff like that.
We deserve to have something exciting and fun and for the next generations to come. And I think when I look at this, it brings hope to think what could be.
The new rec facility will use the $4 million the city received after the sale of Meet Bird Lake Park to Valet in 2021.
Some of the work that we're doing, there are increased costs, and so I think that what we're hoping to put together is an updated budget proposal. When this idea goes to council, we'll have those numbers available to put forward.
After the sale of Meet Bird Park, 10 community members formed the Lively Recreation Project Advisory Panel to determine how the money would be spent. 3 shortlisted locations included the Lively Ski Hill property, Anderson Farm, and the green space near the Lively Citizen Service Centre.
We've done all kinds of consultation. We've spent 4 years talking to the community about this project, and we presented them the options, and far and away Anderson Farm was the community's choice.
The other sites just weren't really all that viable. There were size constraints, they were hidden in the way, out of the way, and they would have required a lot more time to develop to be able to make them actually viable.
The city's consultant, Third Line Studio, says some of the recreational amenities would include walking trails, a performance area, and a public sauna.
A water feature, a mirror water feature that would be a very thin, 2 centimeter thick
layer of water, animated with jets and misters, etc., that would allow the public to cool off in the summer and be adjacent and within view of the sauna, as well as a new fire, a fire pit, etc.
For those who missed the meeting, the deadline to submit your feedback is December 19th via the city's website. That input will be combined with recommendations from the advisory panel to present to council in spring 2026. Amanda Hicks, CTV News, Lively.
Timmins City Council has approved its water and wastewater budget for next year. The budget includes a 5.53% increase, which includes a 1% capital levy in the city's 10-year financial plan. This represents an $82.61 increase for the average 5-room house. The capital levy funds will be used to support projects including the 2-year Tisdale Reservoir Replacement Project. The City of North Bay is taking over operations of the Brewman Community Dog Park at Champlain Park next week. For a decade, the North Bay and District Humane Society was in charge of maintenance and operation of the dog park under a lease agreement with the city. The Humane Society is choosing to focus on animal care, sheltering, and welfare services. The park will continue to operate as an off-leash facility with designated areas for large and small dogs. There's more to come here on CTV News. For now, let's go once again back to Timmins tonight. This live webcam coming from Algonquin Boulevard, City Hall specifically. It's courtesy of the city. You can see that snow still coming down at this hour. Hopefully it should taper off soon. Stay with us. You're watching CTV Northern Ontario. Despite growing health pressures, Public Health Sudbury and District has achieved sustainability within what it calls a precarious fiscal environment. The board for the health unit covering Sudbury and Manitoulin approved its 2026 operating budget at $32 million, but says it took a lot of hard work to get there. 3/4 of funding for public health agencies across Ontario is supposed to come from the province, but the board says that's not happening. Combined with growing health needs like substance and mental health issues, Public Health says it creates a challenging situation to work out its budget.
We had to take some hard looks of where were we able to find some savings. So that included reorienting some of our work to maybe be a little bit less resource intensive. It also looked at where can we take a little bit more risk in our budget, not having maybe as much buffer room around some of our budget lines and really trying to cut things a little bit closer. By doing that, we were able to free up enough funding that we were able to keep the ask for the levy increase somewhat manageable.
Dr. Hergy says the health unit wants to set itself up to create efficiencies in the future. It's investing $2.4 million toward technology to do that, including artificial intelligence. Well, Kenjigewin Tag on Manitoulin Island has officially opened its foundation to support learners with Anishinaabeg worldviews. The over 3-decade-old learning institution is also taking time to celebrate its accreditation for the Indigenous Studies programs, plus celebrating an Anishinaabeg place of learning.
Waskana Foundation, the new charitable organization that will be supporting Kenjigewin Tech, will help to enable them to fund programs that aren't currently funded to help our learners to incorporate or learn about our culture.
Kenjigewin Tech, I don't think cannot be compared to any, mainstream university and college that we have around us, because their efforts come from that resiliency. Their efforts come from that care and compassion.
It's our time. We're ready to do this work. We just want more and more people to come on board and be part of our success. That's all really tonight is about, is celebrating that success and really believing that we can do it.
Officials say the learning institution is important for reconciliation and helps keep the language and culture strong. The annual Christmas Day meal in North Bay is next month, and the committee that puts the meal together is looking for more volunteers. The Christmas Day lunch is celebrating its 20th anniversary this year. Volunteers prepare turkey meals for anyone homeless or lonely and in need of holiday cheer and a warm meal. Volunteers are needed on December 23rd to peel vegetables and to help on Christmas Day. The food is prepared at the Davide Club, and the meal will be at the Pro Cathedral Church between 11:30 and 1.
It's the spark in their eyes with the music and the gifts and the food and the ambiance that's at the room. Like you can't not smile. It's happiness. It's pure happiness. and you know that you've given some people that don't get that very often in their life.
Last year, 450 sit-down lunches were provided and 500 takeout meals were also handed out. What a wonderful cause. That's our newscast this Wednesday night. Thanks so much for watching. Get some rest. We are gonna need it. More snow tomorrow. We'll see you then. Good night.